Good soldiers follow orders.
I like
You got
it.
Crosshair in there.
I like
I
it.
want to do a little toothpick, but then I thought people might think I was smoking.
Yeah, really.
Or think you're Cat
Good
Bane.
soldiers follow.
I know. I look like Norm doing like.
What's up, Force family? Welcome back to the Star Wars Guys podcast here on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts. We are your hosts, Mike,
Hello there.
Nate,
Hello there.
and you know me well. I can't do it myself.
Uncle, and I am well known.
I am well known in this little circle. We are talking
Oh,
Bad
yeah.
Batch, the Solitary Clone
Woo.
episode, fresh off the
Yeah.
presses. I watched it just a little while ago.
I am
Episode
so
3.
excited to talk about
Episode
this
3,
one.
Season 2.
Yeah. I, right off the bat, will say I think I'm even more excited to talk about this episode than I was last week, which was the premiere and the
Premiere.
double episode.
Yep.
I think
But
so.
boy, do we have an episode to discuss
I
here.
think so.
It's a
go
non-Bad
from-
Batch.
We go from
Yeah.
wow, they didn't address Crosshair at all to the whole episode.
To-
Crosshair and
Exactly.
Commander Cody.
Commander Cody.
Oof. And
Commander Cody.
Rampart. What a terrible isn't his name? Talk about
He's
something.
thinking.
Vice Admiral.
Talk about something.
You talking about? I think it's
Talk
Ram-
about something.
I think it's Rampart. I think you got it.
Yeah. I'm gonna let him look it up.
Look it up. I believe that's right.
Vice Admiral Rampart. Mike was right. Mike, you're doing
Michael's
good.
right, and it's
Yeah.
almost
Oh,
a
I-
non. It's almost a non-Bad Batch episode. It felt like
I
we
love
got,
I know.
I mean,
I kinda
Crosshair
want
was.
people to
Or
start
a
YouTube
newcomer
videos.
Bad Batch.
Well,
potentially.
I'm kind of waiting for those YouTube videos to say, Book of Boba Fett shouldn't have Mando in it. This should have
really
been the
starting
Book
to
of
think-
Mando.
I'm really starting
What's this,
to.
a Book of Crosshair?
I'm really starting to think this show should be called The Good Batch.
I think this should be called.
Ooh.
What- I'm one of those people
Anyone
who
else
think that
they
the title.
they labeled
I
it
know.
wrong.
I'm one of these people that thinks
No?
the title
Sarcasm.
should be renamed every episode based on who's the focus. Either that or keep my same 4 or 5 major characters. I don't want to grow. I don't want to
The
expand.
Crosshair Batch
Don't get caught in my
with
crosshairs.
Commander Cody Batch.
Rampart. Batch.
Batch.
Colin.
Just
It was
I love
bad
it.
like
No.
Michael Jackson. Bad. Bad.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
bad. Cause I'm bad. I'm Batch. That's great.
Yeah.
We need
Yeah.
Weird Al to put out a Bad Batch instead of. Yeah,
That's
I like
true.
that. I like that little.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's we always like to start with our overall thoughts
Yeah.
on the episode,
Yep.
as far as like it, love it, struggled with it. Where'd we find ourselves on today's episode
This is my favorite episode yet.
of the
Of
entire
all
Bad
Of this,
Batch or of
of
season
the,
2?
Of the three.
Of the three.
Of
Ooh.
the three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
I agree. I agree. It is your favorite episode. No, it's also my favorite episode.
And no Bad Batch, and it's still my favorite.
Well, technically, Crosshair was part of the Bad Batch.
Yeah, but he's a rogue from the rogues.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, was this not? I love this episode for so many reasons, and was this not such a Clone Wars episode?
Oh,
as far
the
as
Rogers.
Roger.
Nice
shot.
I still got.
Right.
I was
love it.
watching and I liked the tie to the Clone Wars because that's obviously what they were trying to do. But I was also I hear it and I'm like, not a little twitch.
Right.
Oh,
There's a little twitch
but
there.
is there? Maybe it's just me. I liked it. I hadn't heard like it immediately made me think of, I remember when I first, I felt like this episode all in one kind of reminded me that, hey, remember that to always take your time
Just
with
remember
these
how
shows.
far we've come.
But also
Yeah,
remember to judge it on its entirety. Remember that you have things in there that are for you. There are things that are like in this episode. We talked off air. This is not exactly a happy episode by any
No.
means. This actually felt like it fit very well with the theme of Andor, of like the definitely the destruction of these different societies, the boots of the Empire on the necks of the civilians, all of
Mhm.
these different things, destruction, greed, power.
Also,
all
just
this
the
stuff.
ties to the Separatists and the
The
ones
Separatists?
that and another Dooku name drop of not
Did you
quite
know
as
that
far as Dooku went, but
this-
also recognizing Dooku was right in the
Yeah.
sense that he was playing a part.
Right.
Dooku was, but
What he was saying was
Right.
Yes.
But
Right,
Dooku-
from their
skeptical.
point of view he was right.
Mhm.
They were taken over.
Yeah.
And they still
yeah.
stand on the Separatist side now. It's just against the Empire.
And what's interesting is Dooku. Well, first of all, that was not a. So the writer, the person who wrote this episode, is the same one who wrote Tales of the Jedi, the first Dooku episode.
Oh,
of
wow.
him as a
Yeah.
That makes sense.
apprentice.
Yeah.
And witnessing That's the one where he's like witnessing the tragedy and stuff going on, and he intervenes and steps over the line. There's all this stuff, and it's this episode was so interesting because Dooku, or as Obi-Wan likes to say, Dooku. Dooku was right about a lot of stuff, and yet it doesn't change the fact that he also didn't care about the average person. Like,
No,
he,
his own.
he was not
yeah.
the person to get, because
right.
he was about greed and power, and just like our previous episode of Bad Batch talked about, Dooku stole from his own planet.
Right.
Like, he was, yes, he can both be
Yeah.
right in calling out the flaws of things that are going on in the Jedi Order, things that he saw wrong with the
I didn't realize Dooku
with the Republic,
craved
but
treasure
also
that much.
treasure hunter Dooku.
I know.
But I also
Exactly.
love that this episode took things that we were really familiar with and recontextualized them and put them in a different, like, were you guys not kind of rooting for the droids in this?
That was the funny part.
Right? Like, all
Yeah.
of a sudden I'm watching the battle droids and they're getting
I know.
sniped by Crosshair, and I'm even like, oh, dang. Like, and they're defending, like, their base. They're bunkered down. They've got
Yeah,
the little... They got the little rocket launchers, and then all of a sudden Droidekas, and I'm like, yes, Droidekas to save the day.
I know.
I love droidekas.
But
They're
it's
so
always been Droideka's run. They're
Yeah.
against the Jedi. They're when that Droideka went down, because they put the
cool. Oh
they
yeah.
threw the one
It
thing
fell-
on the shoulder
fell
of
in.
him, and then
Yep.
I could just go on and on about the
How about
specifics, but I loved it.
Crosshair's,
Loved it.
Crosshair's shot
Into the tank.
into the tank, but also the shot at the end, boomeranging off the mirrors.
Uncle,
Crosshair's
Don't want to be on the other side of Crosshair.
No.
do you like it? Love it? Where'd you?
Loved it. I felt the same way. Some little things I liked. Sounds weird, but as soon as it started and the ship landed, and they were coming with the new governor, and the ship landed and the door started opening before it landed. I was like, I like that. That's has a nice realistic touch, because most of the time it's and then it opens. So might be a dumb thing. But I thought, oh, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
The whole interaction with the stormtroopers and the when
Yeah.
we see the droids come in again, I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool. And I felt the same way. I'm rooting for the droid. Like, when did this ever?
Yeah.
When has that ever happened?
It's
ever?
amazing they got us to do that.
Rooting for the droids.
Yeah.
Maybe there was an episode. Seems like there was one other. No, because they had the Bad Batch were fighting against droids in season 2. Was it?
Season 2.
When they, yeah.
Yep.
So I don't think I've ever been rooting for the droids before.
No.
It
And
was weird.
and it was
Yeah.
funny having not heard Roger Roger in like a while. I was like, oh, that's kind of fun. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
And I
Nice
know
shot.
our guy Pete with
Oh yeah.
he's got his droid sidekick on his ship.
Around the galaxy.
He would like that. But yeah, I loved it felt like such a, when I say Clone Wars episode, I mean that in the best way possible, where the Clone Wars would have these moments. It felt like all in one episode. It felt like some of the goofier Clone Warsy, like the Roger, oh no, nice shot.
Right.
And then also some of the darkest
Heavy.
Clone Wars stuff you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
They had some of that in this. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll get to all the Commander Cody stuff. But how about Crosshair literally being choked by
I
the
know.
droid, and he's like, Cody, go! And then like Cody comes over
With the
and
knife.
Madman stabs the one droid. Like, it felt like one of those of like, it felt like a horror scene of
Yeah.
like someone you're trying to make sure Michael Myers is dead. And so
Yeah.
now it's just not, leave the knife in him. Cody's going, like,
They
someone
can do
who's
stuff
like,
with
Cody, you
droids
think
that
you
they
got
can't.
him.
They couldn't do that with a person.
No.
No.
But
But
it
they
still
do it in the
feels
droid.
that way. It's like a
It
humanoid.
still feels,
You're-
and his
Yeah.
reaction to it was not like, were both of them felt like this was like panic mode for
Yep.
them, because they're usually, Crosshair's usually under control. Cody, he's seen a
Yeah.
lot. He's been through the war. All of a sudden, they're trapped. They might actually die,
Mhm.
and
Right.
they're like panicking and having to do all. And then eventually they get out of it. But they have all this stuff that's super dark. Then obviously we also have. We'll get to like the title of it. We get to Commander Cody, where he stands as far as his views of the Empire.
Crosshair is just so bad.
Crosshair. Rampart is such a good bad guy because he is so condescending.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, well, not Commander Cody. Cody, who? CC. Like
Yeah.
he's like
Doesn't
know
Cody.
his name.
He's like,
What
Cody.
does
Do
that
you think
mean?
we give you names? As he's
Yeah.
saying to a human. He's a
Yeah,
clone, but
like
Right.
he's
Cody.
literally talking to humans. So he's like, well, I'm gonna give you a name. You're a unit. That's
Yep.
it. You're a.
Clone
nothing but
CC
another number.
242 is going AWOL.
And then
Right.
he's
Yeah.
clearly Crosshair's mad, and he's standing there, and he's like, you're dismissed. Like, get out of my sight. He's Rampart's so bad. But the way he did in the last episode and then now in this too, where he's just, I have another assignment for you.
Yeah.
With Commander Cody. Commander Cody has gone AWOL. It appears that a lot of the clones that are hanging around just seem to disappear.
I obviously thought they
man.
teased that throughout the whole episode. I didn't know it would happen at the end of this episode, though.
Right. Yeah.
That kind of surprised me.
He's out.
That it just happened just like that. I was like, oh, he's gone. Wow.
So what? So do you think? So what do you think Crosshair is struggling with? What is it?
Crosshair struggles.
Because you can see it.
Yeah.
Twice now he's been turning in the bed.
Yeah.
Looked exactly the same. One was before, one was after. What's his struggle? Is it I don't think he feels completely comfortable with
I don't think he does
killing
either.
in cold blood. I don't think he does. I
think it seems like what he always is saying is like, we're soldiers. That's what we are.
Mm-hmm.
We were made to be soldiers, and that's it. So for him, I think it sort of comes off as if he's not there, if he's not giving orders, if he's not going on missions, and he's doing things on his own, it's become what's my purpose? Like, he needs to. He has a hard time finding the purpose in that the other clones, the Bad Batch, had in terms of like trying to bring good to the society and kind of correct the wrongs of the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
For him, it's like, I was created to take orders. If I'm not doing that, what good am I? It almost feels like he's afraid to not be in a safe place where they can just tell him an order to do and just do it.
Mm-hmm.
He's afraid to like get outside of that.
Yeah. You know, up to this point, I think if you truly believed that the Jedi betrayed, they're betrayers. If you truly believe that, up to this point, you could probably go along for the most part. But even if they did betray them, shooting someone in cold blood like this still feels like a line.
Yeah.
For him.
You could say, oh yeah, the Jedi are bad, but that's also wrong.
That's still, like,
if they actually believe that the
Siri, what did you find? Hey Siri, tell me about Bad Batch, episode 3 of season 2.
I found this on the web.
Perfect. Give me a minute. This is like my AI. Oh, great. Okay, good, got it.
Oh, thank you, Siri.
She says she knew Cody was going AWOL. So I don't know.
She could see it.
Cody.
What I love, I love the character, the new character in this, Tawny Ames.
Yeah.
The
you know
governor.
who that is?
Tawny Ames?
The
Tawny
voice?
Ames,
Or
the voice. Does a bunch of Star Wars voices.
Oh, I think you're gonna say it's someone else. But
is
I
it
think
Ian
you're wrong.
McDermott?
Is it?
Yeah.
No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
who's that then?
You're
Oh,
gonna
no.
say it was Shelby Young, but
No, she's the voice of the droid.
oh, this is who it is. I think
Yeah.
it's Richard.
I thought you were talking about the droid.
Oh, the droid. Yeah.
Is
she
it a
plays-
secret or can you tell all of us?
No, you'll never know.
Yeah, no.
No.
That's
I
it.
was like, okay.
Shelby Young does a lot of
She's
voice
Gotcha.
impressions.
Gotcha.
She's done Leia. She's done all that stuff.
Oh,
So
we know-
I thought
we-
he was talking about the
we're
droid.
friends
She did
with
the voice of the
okay.
droid. and,
friends with her on TikTok.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, she's done a ton of Star Wars stuff for like the Lego games and everything.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. But that whole scene with Tawny Ames and the whole standoff. Well, also leading up to it, I think Uncle just made a great point. Is kind of talking about where Commander Cody is right now. Commander Cody fought alongside Obi-Wan, was actually his friend in the Clone Wars. They're joking around. He gives him his lightsaber back, all of this stuff, and then immediately the chip kicks in. He turns and 2 seconds later fires at him.
Mm-hmm.
This episode, you wonder how long he's been struggling with it.
Yeah.
As far as how much time has passed, how long he's been struggling with what he's done. But then also as time passes, this was it's kind of heartbreaking to watch Cody in this episode because you do truly feel like he's on the Empire's side right here because he's fighting for the Empire. They're going into this village, but you also feel like he does believe truly in his heart that they are trying to bring peace and order to the galaxy.
Yes.
Right.
And he's taught when he
Which is why he tries to negotiate.
when he means it when he like the woman and child who are in the corner when they walk in.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, we mean you no harm. We're here in peace. We don't want any harm to
We're here
come
to
to you.
Yeah.
But we're here to help. We're here to help. And I immediately was like, does Crosshair think that? Because Crosshair could easily be like, nope, like
Right.
we're
Yeah.
taking out anybody. But when he says it and then they leave, I thought, oh,
He
that's
really
interesting.
believes
He
it.
really
Yeah.
believes that.
Yep.
And then when he's going up there and negotiating with Tawny, they're talking, and she's like, "You really think there was ever a chance for peace?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Maybe there
I
wasn't
promised her
then,
peace, yeah.
but there is now." And he's like, "Look, we'll put down our guns and all, and even Crosshair disarms, and they let go. And then of course the weasel comes over, the governor Groton, whatever his
Killed-
name comes over.
says the killer.
Execute her. And they're like,
Execute
whoa,
her.
we're not gonna. We promised her peace. You promised I didn't execute her. And Cody's like, not gonna do it. And then Crosshair, boom, follows orders and does it. Good soldiers follow orders.
Yeah.
But in that moment, it becomes very evident. I mean, this is whether he's seen stuff just like this. It doesn't get more plain than that. That Cody was like, "We're
They
gonna help
made an
you,
agreement. We're gonna honor
let
it. You're
the
gonna be
person
safe.
go,
And then she said, and then he says,
and
I
then
don't
you
care,
still
dude."
execute her,
Yeah.
and it's not about peace or it's not about safety
Mhm.
or any of this. You're
Right.
it's about power. We're just gonna execute you." And
And then
immediately-
he says to leave her in the
yeah,
wherever, in the
hang her in
courtyard.
the
Put him in the
streets, basically
square.
put
So
her
that-
in the square to send a message to everyone else.
Yeah.
You're like, brutal.
Yeah.
And
What
Cody,
a rat, this guy.
then you get back to I feel like I'm just talking about the episode, narrating the whole thing. But when they have that conversation at the end, and Cody's talking to him about like, do you ever think that the Empire is? First of all, I thought right then like, one where Crosshair is, he might turn and just kill Cody just for like, I'm so loyal to
Questioning.
the Empire
That's
that,
right.
that I will
That's
on the
treason.
authority of the Empire do it. Except that Cody's been a friend of his too. Like he knows
Yeah.
he knows him. And I like the little back and forth they've had of like he said even earlier he said, yeah, your clone Clone Force 99, the Bad Batch were made to be different. He's like, so no surprise that they defected. And then he said Regs defected too. And then, like that Regs, which is funny because it could also have been Rex
Yeah.
because Rex
Regs.
defected, but
Yeah.
Regs.
Rigs.
But their whole back and forth. Then finally, when he's talking at the end, when they're at the memorial of all of the fallen
Right.
soldiers, and they're talking about we have to live with the things that we've. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you make the choices. We all make choices. That's what makes us different than clones.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, that's what makes us different than droids.
Yeah.
What makes us different than droids is we make our own choices.
We make our own choices and we have to live with them.
and we have to live with them. And then walks away. And I love that. Next thing we know, we heard that he's left because
Yeah.
it makes it feel like what he has to live with. One of the big things is turning on his friend Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
it feels like a
Yeah.
direct tie to Obi-Wan there.
I-
And again,
it
all of
just-
his friends and clones and stuff that
That's right.
have
I
perished
just-
along the
yeah.
way. But Yeah.
It's just that
long-winded answer by Mike.
gray area of the brain manipulation of the chip to follow the order of 66 hunt down the Jedi.
Mhm.
But where's the line then either stopped or blurred for them to boom, no matter what, I'm going after you, to then also feel guilt about it like later on? Because it's not like they feel guilty in the moment. It's like, all right, boom, let's go.
Right.
Let's do it.
Right.
But, or is it more so the guilt of the other things that now they recognize as wrong? Does he still not feel any guilt for the Obi-Wan stuff? You'd like to think he does, but how much of Order 66 actually continues on because it was a mental hypnosis, basically?
Yep.
It makes me wonder, like,
Well, now they're getting
How
phased
far-
out as clones.
they're
too.
getting phased out, and a bunch of them are, defecting and things. So you obviously have the morals there, but I've always wondered where's that line with Order 66? And obviously, it's about the Jedi, which is why
Yes.
they recognize these other things of killing in cold blood is wrong.
Yep.
They probably would have recognized that the entire time, aside from the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't
Do
know.
we have a clear understanding of what Order 66 entailed? We know what the result was. Does the chip say the Jedi have betrayed? We have to execute them, or does it say kill the Jedi? If
It's
it's
a good question.
if Order 66 is there an
Yeah.
enemy, they've betrayed us, they need to be killed, then that memory would still be there. But
Yeah.
that wouldn't answer all of the stuff that comes after it, where you would be killing
Right.
innocent people.
Right.
It feels like that's more what it is.
Yeah.
It feels like the Order 66 was the first thing to get everybody to listen and make the switch over to the Empire.
Yeah.
But now that they've done that, it's okay, this is our side. We've
Yeah.
done that. We're still following orders. The same people, Tarkin, the same people we were just following with
Yeah,
the Republic. We're still taking orders from them, except it's like anything that starts creeping into becoming more of like a Nazi type follow order thing. It's one step at a time, and now next thing you know, they're just doing, killing people in cold blood.
I think probably the chip is that they betrayed the Republic and
they betray their enemies.
And their enemies.
Yeah.
Similar
So
to what
that
he says
made it
it tells
easy.
Anakin, including your friend Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Every
is an
single
enemy.
Jedi.
That made it easy, right?
Yeah.
So, but then it's not easy when things don't connect to that, which makes sense why they would have to phase out the clones, because that's gone. Now we need
and
people.
they recognize that the clones were, aside from the chip, were built to be, like, aside from that, morally, they're
That's
built.
right.
They were built to do good.
That's right.
So they're instilled in them. They were created to make the right decision.
So they're slowly
Morally
going to
make the right decision, do good. So that's why you see some of them.
They're slowly
defecting.
becoming less useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they
And that's the
have to
thing. It feels
replace
like
them.
Cody is still trying to fight the war of the Clone Wars. He's
Yeah.
still fighting that fight because he's like, yeah, I know what we were doing when I was alongside those Jedi. Like before they turned against us, but our cause was right. They were with the cause. They
Yeah.
left the cause.
We're still on
We're
the same
still
course.
on
to
the
bring
same
peace.
side
That's right.
Yeah.
until now he sees this with his own, cold-blooded murder from someone who's literally like the only. And I like. There's so many good lines in this episode. She says the only. I don't remember the exact quote, but the only threat to our people is you. Like you're not
Mhm.
protecting us from
Yeah, like
from
we're
anybody.
fine. Everything.
That's right.
Literally, the only one who's threatening us is you. We are trying to stay out of all this. And he's like,
Right.
he even says, "Wait, I'm not here to debate political."
Yeah, it's like we're here to bring peace. Well, peace from what?
Yeah,
It's
what'd
like,
she
we
say? I'm
already
not.
have peace. What are you
Mhm.
bringing peace from?
She said
Yeah.
something, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact words, but it was, he's like, I'm not here to debate political ideology with you. And she said,
Mhm.
well, if you did, you would understand the error of. It's
yeah,
like
it was
this-
something like that.
It was
yeah.
something like, if you did, you'd understand how incorrect you are, how wrong you are right now. Like you understand
Yeah,
what's the
basically
error of your
telling him
actions.
if you actually stopped and thought about what you're doing,
Yeah.
you would see what's actually going on.
And I think that Crosshair, because the difference between Cody and Crosshair feels like, and there's probably people, we've all known people probably in our life, or even just like, whether it's even like famous people or even people you know personally, who you see take a position or take a stance, just not even like necessarily like political, just like think maybe it's even like a relationship with someone or a grudge, and they take a stand, and then all of a sudden you don't even know what they're defending anymore, and they're just doing it because they had decided that this was the position they're going
Right.
to take,
Yep.
and now you're like, well, who are you trying to prove to? Like
Yeah.
Crosshair, when Rampart, I think it was kind of almost comedic. Rampart said, "You were left on Camino for how long?" He's like, 32 rotations. He's like, "And you came back?" He was like, kind of pathetic. Like,
Right.
Yeah,
what, you
no.
love it this much? Like, dude, what do you? And his whole thing, good
Yeah.
soldiers follow orders, like, is their mindset, but also it's become like such a sad shell of an existence. He
Right.
sits down at the lunch table, and the other guys go, "Ooh," they get up. They're like, even though like,
I
they're like, we
know.
don't want to. Even the other
Yeah.
clones are like, "Oh, we're not sitting with this dude. He's such a sad. Again, you're following orders just because that's like now you are acting. You are a droid.
Yeah.
You have lost your humanity because you can't even understand or see or decide for yourself.
Yeah.
That we follow orders no matter what, and also he doesn't even. I don't think Crosshair even cares about the Empire. He just knows that he's been given orders, and he's a person who follows orders.
Mhm.
And like, I don't think if you sat down and told him, Crosshair, what's your idea for the galaxy? He's like, it doesn't matter. Good soldiers follow orders. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
literally where
yeah.
it begins and ends with
Yeah.
him. Where Cody is like, yeah, but like,
There's a line.
what are we? what
Crosshair
are-
doesn't have a line.
Why are we following
got
orders
2 lines.
anymore? What are we
Yeah.
doing? Crosshair's
Yeah.
So I like it's because Uncle, you were asking what does Crosshair believe or was he struggle with? I don't know. I think that he does still struggle with. I mean, I think it'll be interesting if they're going the redemptive arc.
He's
or
so
if they're-
far gone and evil, but
He's
he
coming
still
back.
seems conflicted.
He's coming
I
back.
think that
I
he
think so, too.
feels-
I think he's coming back.
I
I
do
think
think
so,
he was
too.
heartbroken or was hurt
I think he's
by
Vader.
the batch moving on without him.
Vader. Yeah.
a little bit, like Omega kind of filling his place in the batch. I think was, even though they're trying to talk him into it, then at that point he's like, no,
Yeah.
like I'm not. Like, and they're like, Crosshair, you can do it. No, I made my decision. And it's one of those where he's
Like,
just
I don't need you guys.
you're so
Mhm.
you've hardened your heart and you're so stubborn that you can't just admit, listen, I was wrong,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and now I can live a better life.
Yeah.
Instead, you're just, it kind of
Mhm.
feels the Ben Solo way of like, Ben, when he falls to Kylo Ren, he now has to double down on all of his decisions to prove that what he did was not a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And like, he's doing
Yeah.
this whole thing. You don't understand. I have to do this. Can you help me? And yeah, like, I have to do this. And
Mhm.
then now I gotta go kill my mother. I can't do it, but I have to, because the only other, if I don't do it, then I have to face myself in the mirror and realize that
Yeah.
I was the one who was wrong. And Crosshair
Yeah.
would rather die as a soldier following orders than ever find out that everything he's been doing, that he's got to live with it, just like Cody's got to
Yeah.
live
Mhm.
with.
He really
their
does
actions.
seem like the irredeemable yet inevitably redeemed character. The Vader and the Kylo. There's,
Yeah.
the only way to win is to defeat him. You have to face him. Luke, you got to face Vader, all this
Mhm.
stuff. It seems like that's him. And the reason why I hesitate to say, oh, he's like just too far gone. Like, he's the Emperor. There's no return.
Yeah.
Is because, one, Star Wars always, there's a lot of
Right.
characters that becomes a story. If they have a character that they seem irredeemable, everybody in the show says they're no coming back. He
Mhm.
says they're not coming back. You
Yep.
can't turn me. I'm too far gone. There's
Mhm.
no hope for me, right?
Yeah.
To Luke.
Yep.
It seems like that's what they're doing here, just with Crosshair. But because they've made such an emphasis of the people around him defecting,
Mhm.
it seems inevitable that these things are going to start rubbing off on him. And they even said it is like in this episode, everybody around you seems to be the ones defecting. The Bad Batch, Commander
Mhm.
Cody. So I feel like these little things, like you're saying, Mike, it definitely seems like he's doubling down and putting his fist down on like, no, I'm evil. I like, this is the way, or I'm right. Not necessarily I'm evil, but I'm
Yeah.
right.
Right.
Like, this is right. Good soldiers follow orders. We're bringing peace, that type of thing. But it's really just because he's afraid to admit that he's wrong, and he's afraid of what life would be like without just the simplicity of giving him an order and I go do it.
Yeah. Everything falls apart if he doesn't do it. Everything falls apart.
Like, it really does feel like you hear the stories of people that are in the military
Mm-hmm.
and they're, just to say for the sake of Crosshair, like a sniper or whatever they specialize in.
Yeah.
But then they get back from doing that and they feel like I've spent so much time and my skill doing that now that I'm not doing that, I feel like this whole part of me that I was good at, I'm now not doing. And then some of them want to go back
Yeah.
to use that skill. Crosshair seems like he's afraid to be like, this is my skill. If I'm not doing this,
Yeah.
like what am I doing?
And I think it is like,
Interesting.
you were saying it all falls, and both you guys, it kind of made me just think of, it's one of those things too where, like you said, if it's not this, then it all falls apart for him. Like, either you've been right about everything, Crosshair, or you've committed atrocities
You
that are
have
going to
to-
haunt
yeah.
you for a
Yeah.
long time, that you have
Mhm.
to come to grips
Yeah.
with, that you have
Yeah.
cold-blooded murdered. Like, there is no, well, I was wrong, but also I'm still a good
Yeah.
guy who is not, who didn't really do anything
Yeah.
that wrong.
He's
like,
far
oh, maybe I was
past-
mistaken. It's either it's one extreme or the other. And again, if you choose the better of the two extremes, there is a path to redemption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a path to, Vader
He's
was a part
far-
of
yeah.
Vader was a part of destroying planets. Kylo was a part of destroying the entire New Republic, the entire Hosnian Prime system. He
Yeah.
killed his own father. There's still redemption. If your character, if you're willing to get to this acceptance for your actions, but there's no gray area of there is no him leaving the order, having not seen the error of his ways and just living out his days peacefully. Like, it's either Crosshair has to accept and believes to the end of his days that he was completely right, and so for that he has no remorse, because why be remorseful if I've always been right? Or
Yeah.
I've been very, very wrong, maybe deceived. I mean, some things in his control, some things outside of his control. He likes to boast about the fact, or at least the last time we saw the Bad Batch, the rest of the group, that now even without the chip, I've chosen this because it's
Yeah.
right and this is what I believe. So now he's
Mhm.
kind of even trying to take.
Yeah.
He's trying to take even if he does
Stronger
eventually
stance,
even
yeah.
stronger stance that no, I'm actually choosing to do these bad things. You guys think it's bad. I think it's
Yeah,
good.
he's far past the I was wrong, but the chip made me.
The chip made me do it.
Right.
Is the chip did make him do
Yeah.
now the ideology, the brainwashing,
Good
the,
soldiers
is
follow
the
orders, yeah.
Nazism, as you were saying, of like the people who all of a sudden had been down such a path that you don't even realize you're not taking the onus off them. Like you've just been told this lie or this thing, and you've seen it, and all of a sudden you're numb to it, and then all of a sudden he's just because someone tells him, boom, he's killing someone who's unarmed.
Yeah.
Eventually you have to come to grips with, just like Cody was
Yeah.
saying, we got to live. And again, I like all of the visuals of him not sleep, like him wrestling in bed, him not sleeping, him thinking, him walking around.
They're definitely showing he's troubled for sure.
How about like the kind of like blood red sky of the planet too? Even it reminded again, I don't. It's not Mustafar, but it had like Mustafar vibes. Like it's was like kind of makes you think about.
Yeah.
Makes you think about the things that happened on Mustafar when you just
Mhm.
look at the landscape. It immediately makes you think of, oh yeah, Order 66. This is what happened. You think about what Obi-Wan had to do to stop Anakin, and that all ties back to Commander Cody.
The color of the dirt. I thought, are we on Geonosis here?
Yeah, it's like
Is this? Are we
it
coming
had so
back?
many
Yeah.
things that
what are we
made
doing
me
here?
think
so many
of
different.
Yeah,
like
it made
Yeah,
me
it's
think
cool.
of so many
connections.
different.
We've gotten into the
moments.
psychology of Crosshair. I think that's good. I think that's good to talk about. And here's one interesting thing: most of us are through our lives. We are the hero of our own story. When we think about the things we've done in our life, the things we've accomplished, when the story plays in our head, we are the hero of our story. Right? Characters come alongside of us, sidekicks come along,
Yeah.
competitors come along, but when we play the story back, we are the hero of our own story. For a lot of people, at some point in their life, they look at themselves and realize they're not the hero of the story. They're actually the villain in their own story.
Yeah.
That's a very hard thing to do.
Yeah.
It's way easier to continue to play the story as I'm the hero of this story. They don't understand. They don't know what I know. I know that the ends justify the means.
It's
That
Thanos.
person is in the
Like-
way of what
Yeah.
is ultimately right.
Yeah.
And
Thanos
that's Crosshair.
saw himself
Thanos,
as,
we can look
as
at
the
all
hero.
of these,
Yeah.
I
all
am
of
the
these
only one that's
evil
strong enough to actually
Vader,
do it.
Maul,
Yep.
all of them,
Yeah.
they're still the
Yeah, they
hero
never
of their
thought they
own
were-
story.
Vader
Vader
I'm
never thought
saving
I'm the
lives.
bad guy.
I'm gonna save Padme.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
taking a dark
The only
path
one who thought
to
he
be
was
the hero.
villain
It's the
was
whole
Palpatine.
point. So Crosshair is still thinking that this is the pathway of the hero.
What was Thanos
But it's
saying?
not.
Then I can finally rest.
I can finally rest.
Take in the sunset of a grateful universe. Like you
Yeah.
thought everyone would praise him.
He thought,
Exactly.
Literally, like you think that
Yeah.
what you're doing.
So
yeah,
let me ask you
Crosshair.
this.
It's
Yeah.
fascinating. This is
Yeah.
such a deep episode.
So he's
really
got to be able to.
is.
I think he's
Deep
seeing
episode.
glimpses of it now,
I think so.
and I think it'll get to the point where
I think so.
I hope he finds his way back.
I don't call for violence in these shows, but I would love to see. I don't even mean this show. On the show,
Yeah,
I don't usually say, "Oh, I'd like to see this character."
I don't
die
call
or-
for violence, but I want to see somebody.
But
get
I
killed.
want to see.
I wanna see somebody.
We
Let's
didn't
just
see
say
enough
I'd
this
like.
episode?
I'd like.
This guy.
Let's just say I'd like bad things to happen to Rampart.
Ramparts. Yes.
I wouldn't mind to see someone say,
Crosshair.
"Hey, son, look, bird. Where?" Push him off of the cliff.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
And then all of a sudden, Crosshair would go, "Good soldiers dive after all." So he just dive down a
He's
cliff.
just become Gollum.
It literally is just.
shoot,
He is- Rampart
Why are you talking
is
like
the
that?
ring-
I don't-
Rampart is
the
the ring
ring.
of power for
For
Crosshair, who
He's
worships
just
him.
obsessed with it. It's
And
so
Rampart's like,
it's so evil, but he worships it.
Rampart's like, I'm not Tarkin. Like
Yeah.
I'm a vice admiral.
come
I'm
on.
Yeah.
not Grand Moff. Like
Right.
No.
low on the totem pole.
I just have a
these guys.
name. You don't.
I just have a different uniform than you
Yeah.
clones. Oh, real quick before you get to that, because I'll forget about this. Was it funny also that they were when the two other clones are sitting down at the lunch table before Crosshair is there, and they're like, "Oh, did you hear they're gonna vote on the new Recruitment Reinforcement Act? Well, let's hope it doesn't pass for our sakes." And they're talking about like literally how the TK troopers are coming in, and they're like, "Well, let's hope it doesn't pass for our sakes."
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
literally
about
like
just
that-
Bad
yeah,
news,
it's-
fellas.
this is like Office Space or something. Like, hey, did you hear that the machine can do our job now? Like, they're literally like, oh boy, they're sitting over at the water jug.
Table's getting a little crowded. Yeah, let's get out of here. Yeah, let's go sit somewhere else.
Exactly. I love them.
It's Kip and
It
Rico all of a
was.
sudden.
It was.
Yeah, let's go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Oh, Cody, I've been trained to be a cage fighter. Oh, yeah, right.
Let's take this
Gosh,
outside,
Cody,
Kipper.
gosh.
Yeah, let's go somewhere
Yeah.
else.
Let's go somewhere else.
I wondered. I thought the title had a
funny.
dual meaning. Of course, we're watching this, and Crosshair is the solitary clone, and all of a sudden, who's the solitary clone?
Solitary clone is Cody.
Yeah.
Cody's the solitary
Yeah.
clone. He's the one that's not going along anymore. He's now
No.
off.
Yep.
Yep.
So
I love it.
yeah.
It's
I thought
too,
it was
the
great.
way it starts. You're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, the
Yeah, he's a
solitary clone,
loner.
Yeah, he's alone. They see him struggling.
That's right.
He's
But it's Cody's mental. The mental
Cody's
the
literally-
whole time.
he
was,
literally
this
is the
isn't it.
unpopular kid at the lunch table. Everyone's like, you can't sit with us.
Yeah.
The whole
Can't
movie.
sit here.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting. They're so nonchalant about them leaving. They're ready for the clones to just.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Like they don't
I
even
I think
care
they're
if they-
tired. Like, get
got
Skittle
the-
all out of here.
No,
I could
yeah.
kill him. I would.
With the Bad
Rampart.
Batch, it was they defected. Let's go after them.
Right.
Because they knew they were powerful. They
Yeah.
were skilled. This was like, oh, Commander Cody left. Yeah, he defected.
Yeah.
It's like we don't care. We're weeding
They're
him
like,
out
yeah.
anyway.
We're trying to
Yeah,
get
they're
rid of him.
basically like,
anyway.
He's
So
more
like, yeah,
dangerous than he is.
They
Yeah.
might as well have said like, yeah, that's been happening. They've got wind of the fact that they're done.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we're not.
And they're not
we're
always
quitting.
following orders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't want them in here.
Yeah.
It's funny they actually take a much harsher stance later when like Finn defects. And,
Yes.
like when it's actually
They're
now
having a backup
we've recruited
plan
you,
now.
you came in. We don't have this stable.
Now
of,
it's like
we don't
more
have
of the
here's the next wave
brainwashing,
coming
like-
in, and here's
Right.
it's like listen, we need every person we can get. Finn's like I'm getting out of here. Or we
Yeah.
see him acting weird in the field. Report to your commander. Captain Phasma's like, what was going on out there? Listen,
Mhm.
you gotta. And now they're just like, yeah, whatever. The Bad Batch left too.
Mhm.
Notice everybody around you's disappearing, and Crosshair's like, but I never will. I never will. Like, calm down, rabid dog. Like, it's quit foaming at the mouth for the Empire.
Did I miss the toothpick?
He's Barty Crouch.
Did I miss the toothpick, or is
I
that
think-
your thing?
I think he had a
Did he
toothpick.
have
he
a
had a
toothpick?
toothpick.
He had a
Season one.
toothpick.
Good soldiers eat
Good
toothpicks.
soldiers eat toothpicks.
He and Bad,
We made a joke
he and
off-
Cad Bane just rocked the toothpick look.
We made a
But that was season 1, and maybe that was
Yes.
also
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
I want to notice how much Cad Bane actually sounds like Morgan Freeman.
Yes.
great.
Well, Boba Fett came to Shawshank Prison in
It's just a
1945.
bit more of a draw.
Well,
Yeah.
Boba Fett.
Well, first
Dufresne.
I laid eyes on Andy Dufresne. I mean Boba Fett.
He's a tall drink of water.
Tall drink of water. He had a
so
walk.
do we think
Boba had a
Commander
walk and a
Cody
talk about it.
joins the Bad Batch? Do you think somehow they meet up, or do we think he finds Rex?
Man, I don't know if
I
we'll
would
see
love
him
a
again.
Rex and
I don't
Commander
know,
Cody.
yeah, I don't
Yes,
know.
But
Yeah,
it
in
might
this,
be, yeah.
I'd love a Rex and Commander Cody reunion.
Well,
Yeah,
this is
that'd
all
be
to
awesome.
We see Rex at some point. We saw him in the trailer.
Yeah,
so
right.
we know we'll see Rex. So I
Ooh,
wonder if
maybe-
we'll see Cody
yeah.
at all.
Maybe.
Maybe that is how
Maybe
we get
they,
Rex. Do
uh,
we see Rex with the Batch, or is it Rex? We don't
I'll
know.
have to rewatch
Because
the
maybe it's a
trailer.
little
I don't
Rex and
remember.
Cody connecting out in the wilderness somewhere
Mhm.
would be kind of cool.
What does a clone do? So what does Commander Cody do? He defects, and now what? Like, how do you go
that's the
about trying
question.
to find other clones that have defected? How do you go about
I mean, that's what the
now
Bad Batch's
turning
whole
on the
thing is about
Empire?
too. Is what now? Are we mercenaries?
right?
Or
But
what
I
do we
mean,
do?
someone who's solo, someone who just
Yeah, on
left
your
by
own.
themselves. Like, now what do you do?
I think
Like, are you just wandering, trying to
Mercenary.
find other people?
Bounty hunter. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
don't
he's
know.
a
What do
he's
you
a good
do?
soldier.
Good
Like, I don't
soldier.
even
Good
necessarily
soldier.
mean like just for a living. Like, even if
Yeah,
his
you mean
goal
what's
now
your-
is,
Oh,
all right,
is he-
I want to defect, but I also my plan
I
is
think
to
he's
defect and also
probably-
try to defeat and
Yeah.
get back at the Empire for doing wrong. Like, I want to join the rebellion essentially. But where do I go from here when I leave and I'm by myself? Do I wander from planet to planet searching for other people?
Well, we know that Rex fought in the Return of the Jedi.
yeah.
So maybe Cody's out there doing a little. I don't know. I mean, I think Cody knows that others have. I mean, he said Regs have defected as
Yeah.
well. So I mean,
They find
maybe
a
he
place.
goes
I mean,
and
we
tries to
see him
find-
in,
tries to find some
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan. You've got the.
Obi-Wan, we got
right.
we got him on the street.
Help a veteran get a meal.
Yeah.
No, it's
I do think they're tying this in well with Andor and Kenobi.
the tone of
Yeah, this
Andor
felt
for
like
this
this
one
felt-
was. Yeah.
This
politics
and
and
Kenobi
And the way it ties to Tales of the Jedi.
oh,
The Tales
I
of the
got a good
Jedi
one.
leading into this with the Dooku stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I know they had to bump this back because this was initially supposed to come out way before Tales of the Jedi, season 2.
Yeah.
They've had this done for like a year and a half.
yeah.
Because it was supposed to initially be like last spring. Then it was going to be last fall. Then it was going to be this spring. Then it was going to be this fall. And now it came out. It kept
Yep.
getting bumped. But now it's come out. It feels like it's pretty perfect with the theme of
Yeah, it
what we
does
just
seem
left
great.
off with
Does.
for Andor. Then Tales of the little Tales of the Jedi.
And
then-
Obi-Wan.
and
Oh,
Obi-Wan.
What's the time difference between this and Obi-Wan? Do we know?
Obi-Wan's 10 years, right? Obi-Wan's 10,
So this is
10 years
before-
after, or is it 8 years after?
But
Because-
this also took a
was the
time
first
jump
episode?
with
It says
Omega.
something
This has
ABY.
jumped a little bit.
oh,
No,
in this,
no, that was
this is a
no,
couple
no.
years.
Andor gave us the ABY. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
the first show that ever did
Andor's
that.
5 or 6. I think maybe 5 or 6
Yeah.
years before.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I don't know the exact timeline on where this lines up with Kenobi, but I saw. I tuned into Star Wars Explained. Alex and Molly Damon talking about this a little bit earlier
Mhm.
today, and Alex had made a good point, and I wanted to bring it up about the path, Reva, and just like a Jedi, so to speak, that's still out there, and this idea
Mhm.
of the path, like.
Roken.
Cody, what's his purpose? He finds the path. The path is what the rebellion is right now in terms of this secret
Kinda
thing
smuggling
of
people
trying
out of
to
there.
smuggle people out,
Mhm.
getting people. You recognize someone, okay, let's bring them into the path. Let's get them in on this.
Mhm.
And he was talking about how he thought that would be a great way to connect, like Revo with Cody, or even Cody, like this idea of these
Yeah.
people that are defecting.
Well, don't we
to
know
find
Quint?
the way? And he's like, if that happens. He's like, that makes it, perfect
Don't we know
sense in terms of
Quinlan?
just being able
Didn't
to
they say
Yeah,
Quinlan was
Quinlan.
was
Yeah.
Quinlan's
been
Quinlan
here and-
Voss?
Quinlan.
Quinlan. Yeah, I love Ewan McGregor in a live action going, Quinlan.
Quinlan.
I love
Yeah.
it. And Filoni's
But
like, please.
I thought that was interesting because I haven't thought about
Yeah.
that stuff from Kenobi for a while now because it's been a couple shows ago. But
They're all going to the rebellion. They're all going to head that way, right?
Head the way of the rebellion.
Yeah.
I think I might join.
Remember our podcast
It reminded
episode
me of
about
a
the
Bill
brochure?
Burr. He's like, y'all think every one of you out here back in Civil War, you're all thinking I'd have been one of the good ones. I'd have been doing stuff. I'd have been helping people get to the Underground Railroad. I wouldn't just sit there. He said, no, you'd be doing exactly what you're doing now. Nothing. You'd be tweeting, hashtag. That's it. You wouldn't be doing anything.
Bill, I
What
can
would we
hear-
be
I
doing?
can
I'd
see
be in
Bill
the
saying it.
rebellion.
I'd be in the rebellion.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Cody, come
Maybe.
with me.
Maybe. I know. I think
That's
I would have been
hilarious.
one of the good ones.
One of the good ones.
Also, do love that
Hilarious.
Cody. Everything about Cody is the same, other than just the paint job.
Yeah, right.
Like you,
Got a
as soon
little
as you see
scar.
him, you're like, oh, Cody.
That's right.
Like it's not
yeah.
orange, but you're like, oh, that's.
We
It's
need
Cody's just
that.
got the little head scar.
He's got the head, the flap here, and he's got the little backpack and the antennas on the shoulders.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Also helps when everyone addresses him as Commander Cody. Then I go, oh, now I know for
helps.
sure it's Commander
That's-
Cody.
Right.
I can't tell because a lot of
You
them
look
really
the
look
same.
like.
Oh,
Although
no.
I was wondering this watching.
Omega. He just caught on.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Omega looks different.
She looks
Did
different.
they just feed Crosshair less? Because that guy is emaciated.
I know.
He is skin and bones like, good soldier, follow orders.
I
I
think
ordered
it's
you to
part
eat
of
lunch,
his-
breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He clearly didn't do that.
That's part of his bad batch. It's one of the, they all
Yes.
got
He
a
has to eat
weakness and a
twice.
strength.
Because clearly
His record didn't get the brains
clearly
of the bunch.
Wrecker ate all of his food.
Not
Yeah.
only did he
Yeah.
He
age
just
twice
got
as
less of the
fast,
brain
he has to
cell,
eat
that's it.
twice as much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
His metabolism is.
Hunter has great instinct, so he can track
I
and
can't
find
figure
his
out what
I
own
his
meat.
love
bad
that
batch
Cody
part
brought out
is.
the knife, and immediately I was like, Hunter.
Well, what's funny
Yeah.
is I thought of Hunter,
I
and
was
then
like,
you know what I
oh,
also
sick.
thought of? Thought of a little Dryden Voss. Remember
Oh,
Dryden
yeah.
with those knives that
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
the things on them? Because
Right.
Abigail and I just watched Solo last week.
Wow.
Cool.
And Dryden's got some pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, just reminds me that we got Woody Harrelson in Star Wars, and he was awesome.
He was
know.
great.
He was so good.
Commander
Oh,
Cody.
man. Commander Cody. What
Commander
this
Cody.
is again.
This
We
is a
love-
good episode.
We talked about coming into this show. Last episode talked about how this show we predicted would be similar to the way Clone Wars, Rebels, They have some shows that seem like, oh, this is like fun action adventure. I think our first 2 episodes were. It's not that they weren't deep the last week, but they were like it is deep because you're thinking about the Separatists, you're thinking about the Clone Wars, thinking about Dooku. It ties into Tales of the Jedi, but it's a little more action adventure. They're falling off a cliff. There's even like Jurassic Park vibes where they're hanging off the edge of the bus. All this stuff and then you go to this just super deep, super traumatic trauma, living with
Get into the head
tragedy, living with just the greed of the Empire, the super deep, tying into then the lore of Commander Cody, tying into Dooku, tying into Obi-Wan, all in the 3rd episode of the Bad Batch. And I'm like, I just love this show because just like I'm excited for a lot of these other shows.
Cody spinoff.
One of the reasons I'm super excited
Just
for
Cody.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I'm super excited for Mando season 3 is we don't know what's coming with those characters at all. Like it's an open slate. What I'm excited for Bad Batch is that with the main group of characters, we don't know anything about where they end up.
Don't really know.
We know
where they fit in,
galactically. We know what happens in the galaxy. I like that even right now we're like, do they go to the Empire? Do they go to the Rebellion?
Yeah.
Do they do their own thing? Do they not get involved? How do they survive? Do they make it all the way to
It's
Return
still
of
a
the
relatively
Yeah.
clean slate.
It's
we
still
know
a
the
clean slate as far as
know the
characters.
boundaries, but we don't know
Yeah,
exactly.
and I
what.
love that we're getting more of a more insight with all the shows, really, with Kenobi, with Bad Batch, even some of the Tales of the Jedi stuff, but getting more insight on the aftermath of Order 66.
Mhm.
Because like
Yeah.
you see the movies, you get a huge time gap.
Yep.
Right. It's like
Yep.
they're really diving into every different type of character and what it would look like. We see Jedi perspective with
Yeah.
Kenobi. Now we're seeing clones with Bad Batch.
That's right.
We're getting all it, and then we even get the average, so to speak, citizen with Andor, the politician aspect with Andor.
Yep.
We're seeing every different, character status
Mhm.
in the Star Wars world, and how their life was affected post Order 66. What are they
Mhm.
living through? How do they respond to what's going on?
Yeah.
All the different types, even Sith with or Sith, I guess, like Inquisitors. Like
Yeah.
we're getting every single type of character and what they're going through and how they're dealing with the
cool.
aftermath.
It's cool.
Yeah, interesting.
I
But
love it. Bad Batch
Yeah.
is really cool. They can't call it the Clone Wars because it's officially post Clone Wars.
yeah,
Like the Clone Wars are over.
Right.
But it's I love that it's the continuation of those stories while also focusing on some different characters. But
Mhm.
it's still it feels like it fits in with that Andor time period, with that Obi-Wan time period. It's all in that post Order 66, pre Rogue One.
Yep.
What happens? All this stuff swirling in there.
Can
love
we
it.
wrap up with two predictions?
Please.
yeah.
Prediction for one character event arc something next week, and
Ooh.
potential cameos.
Okay.
So current character,
Well, Ahsoka.
what might happen?
just
Potential cameos. Episode 4, though, not
just for episode 4.
Episode 4.
Four.
What do you think?
Ooh, I
based on
like
what
it.
we saw.
I think episode 4, we're going back to the Bad Batch.
Yep.
Getting a
Yep.
jump there. I don't know if we'll see. I don't know
Where-
if we'll
where the
see
heck are
Cody
they going?
anymore. But even if we do see Cody, I don't know if he'll be in the next episode. I think we get what's his name? I always forget his name. Gungi. What's his name?
Yeah.
Gungi,
Gungi.
yeah.
Gungi.
Yeah.
I think
The
maybe we
Wookiee.
get that.
The Wookiee. Yeah.
Wookiee
I think we
Jedi.
get that next episode.
All right.
We go back to the
Ooh.
Bad Batch. They go out
Batch is
somewhere
back.
because they had just kind of wrapped up what seemed like their final, mission, so
Yeah.
to speak. Their
Right.
final mercenary mission.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it seems like, especially with was it Echo really pushing for we need to do more
Yep.
than what we're doing. So I wonder if maybe maybe that's what they do. Maybe they start getting involved in this path and that's where we get Gungi as a Jedi that they're
Ooh.
trying to help get to safety.
I like it.
I like it.
Gungi cameo and prediction for next
all right.
episode.
I predict both that we get back to the Bad Batch. So I won't take that one, but I think that the focus will be more on the Bad Batch again, back to the kind of the main cast of characters there. But I will say, Omega dies.
Ooh.
Bold.
Next episode.
Omega.
No.
Omega.
I will. I'll go out on a limb. I don't think it's as likely, but I'll put my money down. Maybe I'll get a big win on. We'll say that we do get a little bit of where did Cody go?
Oh.
We get. It's not going to be the focus of the episode. I
do
don't
think we get that eventually.
but I think. And so I'm just gonna. I'll go out on a limb and say it happens next week. I wouldn't be surprised at all if it doesn't.
Yeah.
If it happens later in the season, but
Gotcha.
maybe we'll get a little.
yeah, I could see it. I could see that happen.
I'll go. Hunter story arc is emphasized a little bit, and he's pushing them to stop doing jobs and start doing something meaningful.
First, I thought you said stop doing drugs.
Stop doing drugs and start doing
something meaningful.
heavy drugs. You know,
Something
heroin.
meaningful.
Uh,
No.
stop taking jobs that are just for money and
Yeah.
do something meaningful to stop the empire. And Rex
Rex.
I think that.
yeah, I like
somehow, and that those connect up.
I
like
think
it.
that they
I like
kill
it.
Sid. They say, "Listen, Miss Perlman, we're done. We don't take orders anymore."
And then
Why
Sid
aren't you
goes,
doing the
I
jobs
got
anymore?
a job for you. Can pay off your
I
debt.
think we get a
Get
Sid
outta
hiss.
here.
I think we
Get
get a,
out of here! Why are we?
Wanda Sykes appears as
Yeah.
herself.
I think we get a
About
Sid
that.
hiss as she goes on all
What's the
fours and
problem with
slithers
you?
away.
Crazy. The bad batch. Talk about the lazy batch.
No one put this on the internet. Our Wanda Sykes impression.
money for all of us.
We got to work on that
This
for
is
next
great.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
forgot. I didn't get the memo that
Wanda,
we were all
Wanda,
doing
man, she's funny.
Yeah.
She tells jokes.
There's a Sandman here. That's of course is that's my good buddy Wanda Sykes.
That's a funny Adams. How come it sounded like Chris Rock all of a sudden? That's an Adams tale.
I can't do any of them. Wanda's in there.
Wanda's in there.
The only one
somewhere.
I could do is from Ice Age.
Precious? Precious? Where's Precious? You don't believe me? That's Precious.
Look at pine cones. Look at this, a Jedi. Must be the last one. The Jedi. Sid the Sloth is
I know my
is
bad.
a,
Must be
is
the
a
last
trooper.
I know my bad.
Look at last one he
Must
sees.
be the last
That's
one.
not funny. He's a Jedi. I know my bad. Wow, we didn't talk about Wizard of Oz one time.
Yeah.
No, we
or
should.
Bruno.
Man,
We
we're
don't
not
talk
supposed to
about
talk about
Yeah.
him.
No.
They sing a lot
No,
about him
no,
for somebody you're not
no.
supposed to talk
That's
about.
true.
We don't talk about you know who.
It's now
That's the
Voldemort.
Voldemort version.
Yes.
We don't talk about Voldemort.
Yeah.
Speaking of Voldemort, I was just rewatching. This is not really Voldemort related, but it's a little bit. I was
Speaking of
rewatching.
Voldemort, I was rewatching.
I was rewatching
Solo the
Wizard
other
of
day.
Oz.
Book of Boba Fett,
Oh yeah.
Oh.
and when Cad Bane comes on, he's got his no nose, and he's like, "I'd be careful how I was sticking my nose if I were you." I'd be like, "Shut up! You can't speak on noses." I would
This
immediately go, "What do you know about noses?"
Yeah.
and then he would just go, and he'd look up at his red eyes and go,
Thing.
"I know you're not supposed to stick them places." I'm like, okay, shut up. You don't have any, you know nothing about noses.
Learn the hard way.
Get your smooth face out of here.
Boba Fett was a cold-blooded.
Okay, Wizard of Oz question of the week.
Yeah.
Why did the witch disappear at the
Ah, yeah.
beginning? Why did she just stay there and bring the monkeys and take Dorothy right then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
She's
didn't they-
facing
yeah.
Glinda, who showed up in a bubble and terrified Munchkins.
Why didn't the
Why didn't
Eagles?
she just Why did she just take her down right there?
Bubble terrified munchkins.
They killed
Yeah.
her sister, and she's like, "I'll see you sometime later," and then that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'll get you later, and I'll be standing next to a bucket of water.
Maybe it'll
And
appear
why is the-
once. Like why?
And why is the
Oh,
road yellow?
Why is it yellow?
And why does it lead exactly where they need?
Exactly.
And she goes, "Oh, I'm Glinda. That was my sister who can bring destruction to all mankind."
Dorothy's
Your
like-
sister's horrible.
You mean
Why
you
didn't
put
the
the
Eagles
one
fly on the
thing
Mount
on
Doom?
my feet that wants her to kill me for? Why did
I,
you put them on my feet?
Wait a second.
And then not tell me how to use them? That's wrong.
This
I
is
love
I have to
Oh
read.
man, that is wrong.
I have to read live on the air.
We gotta wrap this up.
I have to read live on the air.
after
Hilarious.
this. This is
You're gonna have to
be
pay
good.
royalties if you read that
I have
That's
to
true.
read. No. I
because
have
it's
to read live on the
it's-
air a
it's-
tweet
Oh, okay.
from.
I thought that's guild. You have
No,
to pay
no,
for
no,
that.
no.
Okay.
I have to
Oh,
read.
man.
I have to read live on air a tweet from our older brother Matt because this was hilarious. to me. This was Matt went on this tweet storm the other day about
Oh,
The Wizard
storm
of
of
Oz?
tweets.
about Lord of the Rings.
Oh, Yeah,
that's
about
right.
Lord of the Rings.
That's
This is
right.
great.
Yeah.
So
They just fly.
you know
into
how a
Mountain
lot of
Dew.
people have
The
mentioned,
Eagles.
mentioned
Okay.
that the Eagles.
Yeah.
Fly
why don't you
Frodo.
just have
Why
the
does it
Eagles
show up-
take
right,
them?
right, right.
So this is Matt's tweet.
That would ruin it.
Rewatching Lord of the Rings. It's still not clear why they didn't take the Eagles with them. I mean, can you imagine a performance of Hotel California at the gates of Mordor? The Eagles, the music group. The Eagles should have come with them.
They should have come with
The
them.
Eagles should have come with them. Could you imagine Hotel California at the gates of Mordor?
Oh,
Shout out to
man.
Matt. His tweets are hilarious.
That's a
That
good
was
tweet.
one.
That's
That was
a good tweet.
one.
But no, there's yeah, this episode again. I'm so happy that what is it, 16 episodes we get for this? I think it's 16.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's
It's
gonna be
16.
good.
I love it. I
Can't
love it.
wait.
I can't wait to see where. I do think that this is with the animated shows. They do a great balance of some fun, lighthearted stuff, great action. This episode had great
Oh,
action.
yeah.
right? The
Right.
shooting off of the pucks. Pew, pew.
Yep.
Oh,
I was like,
amazing.
that was
Yeah.
really cool. Shooting
Throw
into
it
the
as
tank,
far as you
The
can.
battle droids. We got
as far as you
droids.
can.
Yeah.
As far as
I
you
just,
can.
I think every week I continue to just sit in awe of how great the animations become.
Oh, it's
So
awesome.
good.
Yeah.
So good.
It is. I love that they've zeroed in. Also, I like that they've messed around with I love the different storytelling. What it looks like in Visions. I like what it looks like in Rebels. I like what they've done. What they did in Resistance. I know you and I really liked Resistance. What that looked
Yeah.
like.
Oh, yeah.
But
the
they
style.
also have found their sweet spot with the Clone Wars animation
Yeah.
style.
Yep.
Because they immediately went straight
Yeah.
back to it for Tales of the Jedi. Straight
And-
back
and
to it for.
They're
um,
doing so many more
for Bad Batch,
close-ups
looks
on
great.
the face too,
Mhm.
because of how good
Yeah.
everything looks.
Yeah.
Like if you go back to the first Toy Story, all you see is the parents' legs, like
Mhm.
those types of things. 'Cause
Right.
They weren't. The animation wasn't
Yeah,
there. They
right.
didn't want to show it. This, it's like
It's crazy.
they're just zooming in right on the face, the expressions, everything. Obviously, it's got its own style, but it's just
Yeah.
it's so good.
It's really good.
I love it.
There you
Bad
have it.
Batch.
Bad Batch. Will Commander Cody join the batch?
Ooh, yeah, baby.
We'll find out.
Maybe.
Next week on Christoph Says, Commander Cody
Commander Cody, join the Bad
has flashbacks and thinks he's still fighting in the Clone Wars. He's out there just fighting nobody. They're like, Cody. That's not funny. He has PTSD, I guess, in that version. But Cody,
Oh man.
stop it. Cody.
Dude. Yeah, there you go.
I hope I want to put on the record that I wish the best for Cody.
Yeah,
I feel like I
that
need
was
to
good.
clarify after.
I was gonna
just
give you a
saying he has
second.
nightmares.
Bad
I hope
Batch
that he
episode 3
does well.
review. There you have it. There you have it. Looking forward. We got 16 episodes, so we'll keep chucking along. We'll be back.
Chucking? We keep chucking along.
Chucking them.
Give us an episode.
Let's
How
chuck
far should I throw
Commander
it? Crosshair
Cody.
as far as you can.
as far as you can.
Chuck that episode out there.
There you go.
As Crosshair shoots it away. Blast away the episode.
There we go. As always, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Drop some comments. Let us know your favorite moment, what episode you've liked the most so far. If you're excited to see Commander Cody back, and where you think he is going. Will he join the Bad Batch? What do you think will happen with Crosshair? Is he going to end up defecting, or will he stay an Empire loyalist to the end? We will catch you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, may the Force be with you.
Roger, Roger. Nice shot. Wow.
Joydicus.
Wally. Wow.
All those,
Oh,
Eva. Eva. Wally. Eva.
Eva.